In this tutorial, we're learning a lot of different things related to ethical hacking, such as what is hacking, all the threats there are to hacking, all the skill sets that might be needed, the whole process of ethical hacking. Then you'll be learning about a lot of the various domains and the process implementations within those domains, such as your web application, networking application, and etc. And we'll go ahead and end this tutorial by talking about web applications and a very intricate demonstration that will help you understand what kind of attacks can happen.
With our seminar here. So what is hacking? Before we go into ethical hacking, let's just understand what is hacking. Hacking is basically a principle where a person or individual or a group of individuals try to break a computer system with some security flaws. That's the main definition of hacking. That you can also take it as a more like a bookish definition for ethical hacking. But in a general way, the ethical hacking is a broad term under different kinds of hackers which are present throughout the world. So in hacking, it's not like that everything is illegal. We actually define the hacking with three different kinds of hackers. The first one is the black hat hacker. Black hat hacker is basically a person who tries to gain the access of the system, modify the system, or change something within the system. It could be your web applications, mobile applications, it could be related to your network security or servers, anything. A person who modify, changes, updates, or adds some kind of security flaws without the permission of the organization or the individuals are just considered as black hat hackers. And this is the illegal part of hacking. So you might have heard about that there is an anonymous group who works on hacking different credentials of the services and servers throughout the world. There are some other prominent hackers who are also working as a black hat hacker. And the main goal of a black hat hacker is mainly to just exploit the system for his gains. It could be related to that he's trying to execute some kind of scripts to transfer the money from your bank account to his bank account. It could be related to that he is trying to access some kind of organizations and trying to take out their secret codes or secrets information. So those are considered as black hat hackers. On the opposite side, we have white hat hackers. White hat hackers are basically the ethical hackers which we talk about. So ethical hacking is a domain which is considered under the white hat hackers. So what are white hat hackers? White hat hackers are the people who do the hacking process but with the permission of the organizations. So they are going to behave like black hat hackers, but they will have the permissions of the organization. They will be provided with the tool sets from the organizations, and they have to report all the vulnerabilities, all the flows, all the different things which they find out throughout the process to the organization. So those are white hat hackers, and ethical hacking is part of white hat hackers, where we will have the permissions to conduct some kind of security test or some kind of penetration testing on top of applications, and through that we will formulate the report which will be used by the organizations to conduct the security measures. So basically, why organizations need white hat hackers or ethical hackers? Because they want their product to be secure. They want that nobody from outside is able to hamper their product or gain some information or knowledge of the product by just escaping some of the different vulnerabilities inside the system. So that's why organizations go towards the white hat hackers and appoint them to just make sure that the security is maintained. In between these two, the black hat and the white hat hacker, we have a third type of hacker, which is known as a gray hat hacker. What is a gray hat hacker? This is actually a combination of black hat and white hat, but they don't do hacking for fun. They are mainly related to that. They are not doing hacking just for gaining some kind of illegal advantage. Why they do the hacking point? Because they want to have fun, they want to get renowned, or they want to earn some kind of bug bounty reports on top of the different security flaws which are present within the organizations. So bug bounty is one of the good examples for gray hat hackers, where they don't have the actual permissions from the organization, and they do the hacking process, but instead of exploiting the hacks, instead of gaining some kind of monetary advantage from the resources or the servers, they try to report the same to the organizations, and in turn the organizations provide them some kind of bug bounty or some kind of rewards regarding what kind of hacking they are doing. So basically, three types of hackers: black hat, gray hat, and white hat. Black hat, the illegal ones, which are basically the groups and the people who try to hack and gain advantage. White hat, appointed by the organizations, behave like black hat but have the permissions to do the process of hacking. And gray hat, which are just lying in between, and they do the hacking just for funds or acknowledgement, and then they try to get some kind of rewards out of the organizations. How this hacking occur, how the whole process of hacking might occur on a organization or an individual. Those whole part of hacking or different kinds of thing, different kinds of vulnerabilities, different kinds of security flows, how they occur through to computer security threats. There are many computer security threats which are known to us. Some of the major ones are listed here. We have computer virus, computer worm, scareware, keylogger, adware, malware, backdoor, trojan, ransomware, and spyware. So these are just some of the computer threats which are known. If you talk about computer virus, what is a computer virus? This is a kind of a software which tries to attack your system. It could be just the deletion of different file structures. It could be encryption of your file structures. It could be related to taking out the transactions or bank data from you, or trying to do some kind of illegal transactions. Those are computer virus. The second one is computer worm. It is very similar to computer virus. The only difference is that the computer virus is something which requires a trigger. So there would be some kind of trigger that you click on some kind of pop-up. Let's say you got a pop-up suddenly while you are browsing the internet that you have won an iPhone or you have won $1 million, and you click on the pop-up, and the computer virus will be downloaded at your end. Computer worm, on the other hand, doesn't require a trigger. This is the one which self manipulates. Like if a computer has the computer worm, it will self regenerate, self transfer, or self connect with other computers and transfer itself to the other computer. So that's computer worm kind of software which currently keep on processing and keep on transferring from one computer in a network to the second computer. Scareware is a very common thing. This is something which most of the organizations appoint. This is where they will give you that you are at risk. So you have seen that suddenly you get a pop-up from antivirus that you are currently at risk. This is the total number of files you have quarantined, and this has happened. So that's a scareware. Although it's not kind of like a security threat, but what they are trying to do, they are trying to actually scare you into buying their product. So that's a scareware. Keylogger is a very common thing. There are a lot of softwares available for keylogger. Keylogger is something which is installed once on your computer. It will keep on logging all the keys which you type on it, and it's a very good tool to figure out the passwords and usernames for an individual. Keylogger is more towards the individual end, because we try to keylog just one single individual and try to figure out his process or his vulnerabilities or his passwords. But this is not that much towards the server end, because if we put keylogger towards the server, then it will actually log all the activities by the various users, and the data will be quite huge for us to analyze. Then we have adware. Adware is again very common. You might have seen that once you go to Google Chrome and visits or do some kind of search on Google, suddenly you are getting so many ads, and those ads are not those ads which are coming from Google AdWords. It's mainly just that an adware has fired up and it's giving you a lot of ads throughout your search results. So that's adware. Malware is a very generalized terms. We can call computer virus or scareware or adware or computer worm as a malware. So malware is more of like a generalized term for all these kind of different computer security threats which we have listed here. Then we have backdoor. Backdoor is more towards the network security. As I discussed, hacking is not just that you have an application where the person is trying to just gain, like trying to just solve your username and password. It's not just that. What hacking is actually on different devices and different ways how the whole process works. So it could be that you have a web application where the person is trying to attack your system by trying to do some kind of attack such as SQL injection, HTML injection, PHP injection, or it could be they are trying to run a CSS attack or a CSRF attack. So cross-site scripting attack could be there. So that's only the part of web application. But if you take the other kinds of domains under hacking, then you have the network domain where you have to deal with the network security, and there the person tries to access the server through some kind of security vulnerabilities which are present with the server. It could be that you have some kind of known vulnerabilities which are present. It could be that you are using some kind of default usernames and password, and the person, instead of trying to take over your application, is trying to take over your server. And backdoor is also one of those computer security threats where they try to take a backdoor to your server, and through there they try to access your system. And similarly, the hacking has for mobile devices also. You have multiple hacks which are available on mobile devices. One of the famous hacks used to happen on Android devices, which was known as clickjacking. So you just tap on your mobile phone, but what the hacker does, hacker actually takes over your tapping. So once you tap on your mobile phone, your tapping is redirected to his own website where he can run a script or execute something else to hack your system. So that's related to mobile devices. So different domains of hacking, and different domains functions very differently. Ethical hacker has to work in all these domains. He has to be proficient with the web domain, the network domain, and the mobile domain. After that, we have Trojan. Trojan, you might have known that, you might have seen in the old kind of like ancient Rome time. What is a Trojan? Trojan is basically a wooden horse which has lot many soldiers inside, and the Romans used to send them to war, and the other country or the other king used to think that this is just a horse which is coming to him, but those soldiers were actually hiding inside the horse. So that's what Trojan is under computer networks also, that although the computer is able to think that this is something accepted, this is a normal behavior which is coming in, but on the back end of this normal behavior, there are a lot many computer viruses, worms, or different kinds of malwares which are being executed. Then we have ransomware. Ransomware is again very common, and this one actually happened in 2014, the recent one, which was known as WannaCry. This was the one where you suddenly got a red pop-up on your screen, and it says that you have to pay them some money in US dollars or transfer them bitcoins. And this was used very heavily, where they encrypted your data, and if you don't pay them the money by that time, then the ransomware will delete all your hard drive. So that's ransomware. And then finally we have spyware. Spyware is again a very common thing, and spyware is something which is actually now more towards the government side and the organization side instead of the normal individual hackers. So there was one example that Sony was actually coming up with their Walkman, and under Walkman they had this service where you can actually say or try to put up some words, and according to that the Walkman is going to play your music. The thing was that later on people found out that Sony actually was using that for recording the people voices as a spyware, and they were actually using that data and sending it to the governments. Later on that Walkman actually removed that, but this is one of the examples of spyware which came into being. So spyware is basically where they are monitoring you, they are trying to figure out what you are using and how you are using the services. So these are some computer security threats which an ethical hacker needs to manage. He needs to know about what is a virus, what is a worm, how virus and worms perform, what are the different techniques where they might infect the servers or the organization, and how should I do the process of mitigation to make sure that our computer servers and organizations are not affected by the same. So you have to think with the mind of a normal hacker, but in the end you have to report the same to the organization to help them in safeguarding their services. So that's what the ethical hacking process is. Moving forward, some of the goals of ethical hacking. So the primary goal for ethical hacking is to protect the privacy of organization, as we have already discussed. Then it also maintains the reporting for an organization. So you have to report all the vulnerabilities transparently to the organization, where the organization knows that what is happening in the system and how to mitigate these vulnerabilities. And finally, you have to inform all the vendors which are also present in the organizations about the security measures and patches. Suppose you are working with Dell and you're working as an ethical hacker with Dell, and then you figured out that there is a vulnerability under Windows operating system. So as an ethical hacker, it's your profile, it's your job to actually communicate to Microsoft team that this is a vulnerability under your Windows environment and you should fix it, and these are some of the mitigation techniques. So these are some of the goals of ethical hacking which you need to follow as a ethical hacker. Now coming to the skills required by ethical hackers, we have listed just the general skills here, but if you just go deep down in the skills, you will notice that there are many other skills which are related to ethical hackers. But just on the high level, the bird's eye view, as an ethical hacker, you should be proficient with operating systems. You should know that how to work with Windows and Ubuntu and Mac operating system, because the servers could be built with any of the operating systems and the security flaws and vulnerabilities could be available with all these operating systems. Then you should have the concepts of networking clear. You should know that how the data packets are being sent across, how a TCP connection works, how a HTTPS connection works. You should have a basic concept of networking which you can easily use to analyze the different data and traffic which is being passed across between organizations and the individuals. Finally, you should have some kind of proficiency with the programming languages. This is important because if you are working in the web application part for ethical hacking, you should be proficient with scripting and you should be proficient with HTML. You should know how to analyze a HTML document and how to analyze a JavaScript document. And similarly, if you are working towards the more towards the firmware side, you should be proficient with other programming languages as per the use cases which we want to take up. So these are just the 3 skills which are primarily important for an ethical hacker, and they should have some kind of proficiency built with these skills.